Hello everybody and welcome to a rather sad episode of number 27. I'm Jack and this is the Tomato, and this is a car that I really have kind of fallen for. The thing is, for me, it's usually down to expectations. If I don't expect that much from a car and it ends up delivering a lot more, I really quite fall for it, and that's been the case with this. I bought it in an incredibly sad state, you will have seen. It's a car with some history because it's been on TV before. And it did have a bit more work than I'm normally used to, including a bit of welding. I haven't completely finished doing the restoration. I've really just got it going, got it back on the road. The wipers, for a start, is dreadful, but I really liked it. I've used it for the last couple of months. I used it for my house move. It is just brilliant on Oxfordshire's bumpy roads. It just floats around. The steering is really nice, very responsive. The engine's nice and zingy. It just does what it needs to do, and it is with a really heavy heart in some ways that I had to move it on. And the reason why I have to move it on, as mentioned in another video, is that I am now full-time and I have to kind of get a bit more of turnover of cars. But this is one car I would really have very, very, very happily kept. Now, before I hand it over, let me just sum up where I am with the Tomato. Mechanically, it's really pretty good. The super expert Rich Kitch from Up and Down, the other YouTube channel, he was amazed by how good it is underneath. It is a really solid, clean car. It still has some rust by the sunroof, which will need to be treated. And this door does have a hole at the bottom and should really be sorted out at some point. Depends how smart you want to go. That front bumper really needs a repaint as well. Apart from that, there is the occasional starting issue. That is still there, and I have mentioned this to the new owner, so every now and again you'll click, it won't do anything. If you click 2 or 3 times, normally it will go, but that's exactly the same as I had on my 205. The gear change bush, one bush in particular, needs doing because occasionally the rod, well, it's popped off once in my 3 months of ownership, but it definitely needs to be done. And then apart from that, there's sort of a few little bits and bobs, and I think that underneath it is so good it should really be under sealed, because it would be a shame not to keep it as good as it is. So today anyway is a handover video. I'm going to hand this over to the new owner. But there is some good news in there, because you'll see who it is soon, but it does mean that it's probably not going to be the end of the Tomato on YouTube. Okay everybody, are you ready? Well, it is a bittersweet moment, as I already said, but the good news is that both you and I are going to be able to continue to follow the lovely Tomato's progress, because the new owner is James Martin, aka JM on Cars.
Hello.
Hello, buddy. So, I'm a bit heartbroken. I'm giving you the car, but I'm much happier that it is going to someone I know. Not only that, but it's probably going to stick around on YouTube, because you're going to do a few more videos on it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
At some point.
Oh, of course, as soon as I can, really.
Yeah. So one of the main things is, I think that I want to check that your intentions are strictly honourable. So
I've never bought a car from someone that seems more like a concerned parent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, we've agreed on a suitable dowry, and I'll be waiting for that at some point. There's going to be a bit of a delay on that. But apart from the dowry, what are your intentions with the Tomato?
Oh, this is interesting, because at the moment I genuinely don't know. The first order of business is going to be to get her fixed up and do the things that I know you would have done had it stayed with you a little bit longer. Yeah. I think I'm probably intending to take it maybe a little bit further in terms of the cosmetic restoration. And as for mechanicals, really, I want it just to try and be a really good example of what it is. So I know that Rich has already been looking after it a little bit while you've had it, and it will be returning to him at some point in the near future to do many of the little things we've already discussed that it needs.
All right, buddy, so you have to tell me, because when I got this car originally, one of the things that I had quite a few people who actually got in touch with me, including old friends saying, I'll have it off you when you're finished. What I wasn't expecting was for one of those old friends to be you. So what on earth? I mean, I know why I love this, but what I wouldn't have immediately thought of you as being interested in a tomato. So what prompted you? What prompted you to want to buy it?
No, me neither. Firstly, I'm not sure whether to be honoured or insulted at being an old friend. Secondly, genuinely, if you'd said to me about this car, it wouldn't be the sort of thing that I would consider that I'd be into either. But there's a few reasons, I think. First off, it is just a really distinctive car. Yeah, there isn't, I think, much else that looks quite like a BX, especially with the little wing on the back. It's pretty cool. And red is the colour for this as well. So when you got it, I was already looking at it going, that's actually quite a savvy purchase. Also, there's a couple of other things really motivating me. First off, I've had a sort of on-off lusting for a sort of 80s or 90s hatchback, probably French, for quite some time. I've been keen on the idea of, say, a 306 GTI 6 for a while. I drove a rally a couple of years ago and quite enjoyed it. But those are now really expensive. And the problem is, I never really had those kind of cars when I was younger, so I don't have enough nostalgic association with them, I think, to justify the prices that people are asking. So that's part of it, that I think maybe this is a way of me kind of still getting into something that meets many of those criteria, being quirky, being interesting. The first car that my mother had that she got when I got my driving license was a Citroen C4 Loeb Special Edition, nonetheless. So I've always had a little bit of a thing for Citroens. Over the years, I've been lucky enough to drive a few of them and begun to develop a real appreciation for what it is that Citroen used to stand for.
Yeah.
And, the cool, funky engineering, the quirky way of doing things, the brake pedal, the hydropneumatic suspension and all that sort of stuff. And I think we're both very similar in a lot of ways, that we're always looking for something else to buy, regardless of whether we need it, have the money or whatever. But I'm always thinking, well, I need something that's different to what I've got.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have said stuff like, you always need to own an Alfa Romeo to be a petrol head. Well, to me, I think having a old school Citroen should surely be up there as well.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And actually, I think we were talking yesterday, and I was saying that I think these are they're undervalued. Everything is overvalued, but not these. And first of all, the rarity is just, they are very, very rare. And that's also because a lot of the engines were pillaged for 205 conversions. They weren't really rated, but as you're saying, it's such a different car.
Yeah.
And I think it drives really well. I know you drove it a little bit this morning as well. What are your impressions so far? Am I wrong? Is it rubbish?
No, if anything, when I was talking to you yesterday and you were telling me about the way that it drives, I think maybe you sort of undersold the way it is. No, it doesn't have the steering feel of, say, the 205s.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that sort of chuckability of those cars. The engine is quite zingy, maybe not quite as good as, say, the Banzai Red Top in the old Astra GTE, but that was a very special engine.
Yeah.
But it's still got a lot of character. It makes a great noise as well, but not too much of it. Stuff like this. I mean, in a Ferrari, I've been through there a few times in Ferraris, and every single time I'm going, oh no, because I'm so worried about the car just smashing into the ground. Whereas with this, the harder you press on, the better it gets. The suspension really starts to work. This is an odd car to have the hydropneumatic on, because at low speeds you can tell they have stiffened it up a lot and it doesn't like it too much. But once you get onto a road like this, and I know the road fairly well, you get a little bit of speed. The suspension does do its funky thing. The steering is actually better than expected. It's not quite as crazy sensitive off-center as things like with the SM, even the GSA that I drove, Hubnut Ian's GSA Giselle. The brake pedal, again, it's still got some of that Citroen oddness about it, but it's not quite as extreme as other cars. Even the gearbox, because I know this gearbox isn't perfect yet, that's one of the items we've discussed. Actually, it's better than I expected. Historically, French gearboxes are never that nice to use. This is probably one of the better examples that I've driven.
I'm amazed you think that, but it's not. It's completely usable. It's just not that pleasant to use, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, other than when we were in town earlier and I spent 5 minutes trying to find reverse again, I think being on a hill doesn't help it, like it knocks things out of alignment ever so slightly. But other than that, and that is something we know we can fix, it's really quite pleasant. It's not a car that enjoys going particularly fast. It's not a very natural motorway cruiser. It just revs far too high for that. But for the kind of back roads where both you and I live, it's really well suited. Like, it enjoys this kind of road. Even all the time we've been driving it, the weather hasn't been ideal. And actually it grips well enough. Loads of space in it as well. And I'll be interested to see what people think. And again, like we were saying, in the classic world, prices have gone a bit nuts of late, and there aren't many cars out there which still meet that criteria of being affordable, easy enough to run, with a reasonable supply of spares, so you can actually keep them on the road.
All right, James, well, let's shake on it, as our friend would do. What's his name again? Wheeler Dealers, what's his chops?
Mike Brewer.
Yeah, that's it. I won't spit on my hand, but we have shaken on it. So the tomato, the tomato is officially yours. I am a bit sad, but I'm also, it could have been a lot worse if it had gone to someone I didn't know. So good stuff. And I've got first refusal if you ever want to sell it. I hope it treats you as well as it's treated me. And that was the one thing that I wanted to ask you. I think you're not going to be making any videos immediately, are you? Because you've got a bit of stuff waiting on. So everybody, you might have to wait a month or two before he does anything. But there will be more updates on the tomato. So
February, March. February, March, it's going to make the official appearance on my channel. So if you don't see anything until then, please don't think that I've just then gone and sold it. That's not the case. It will be on the channel, just not immediately.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. If by any chance you haven't seen James's channel, then I'm going to be putting a link up right now. So do go and have a look at his channel as well. It's fantastic stuff. And really look forward to seeing you for the next one.